Hello! Thank you for joining me. This is the first episode where I teach you how to get more joy out of your voice. Do you remember like 20 years ago when nobody knew how to dance and all of a sudden everybody knows how to dance? That's about to happen with singing, and I'm going to teach you how to do it. It's actually really easy. I think that in the past, singing has been kept only for those who are the best of the best or put in the most work. And you know what? Just with a few tips and tricks, you could actually learn how to sing pretty good, pretty fast. And even if you can't sing good, well, let's talk about that, okay? I wrote this series all about how to get the most joy out of your voice. Before we get to the tips and tricks, I have something I want to talk about first. I came up with an analogy that I think kind of explains my thought process a little bit when it comes to singing, because drills can be really powerful tools for us to learn how to sing. But just like if you were in a woodwork shop, knowing all of the tools is not the same thing as knowing the craft. So there's a little bit of both. You know, you can make something really amazing just with one or two tools, or you could know all of the tools and not really know how to make anything. So yes, we're going to get to know the tools, but we're also going to focus some time on the craft itself. I think one of the first things that we have to talk about is the mindset. What is your mindset about singing? And are there any parts of your mindset that are in the way? The environment that we're in right now with singing is pretty toxic. And I've let some of those toxic beliefs get into my head, and they might be in your head too. So let's talk about it. I want you to imagine being a music teacher and going and teaching a group of 5-year-olds like how to sing Jingle Bells, okay? I imagine that any group of 5-year-olds would be yelling over the top, just being crazy. I'm pretty sure every single one of them would be singing and not really too self-conscious about, what's everybody else thinking about my singing? Now I want you to think of going to a group of high school seniors, a group of 17-year-olds, and teaching them the same thing. Would they be as enthusiastic? Would they be putting themselves out there? Would they be worried about what everybody's thinking about them? What did the world do to us that would cause us to go from 5 years old to 17 years old in this kind of drastic change with the way that we perceive ourselves and the way that we perceive our voices? Whatever that mindset of that 17-year-old that you're imagining, I want to kind of reverse it and take us back to our 5-year-old selves and then kind of hone in those skills from there. I think being so self-conscious about our singing and about our voices, even our talking voices, I think it really hinders us. It hinders us from being able to do the things that we really want to do. How many of us are just staying quiet when we want to sing, or we want to talk, or we want to use our voice, we want to raise our hand, we want to give a talk? I know a lot of us are so self-conscious about our talking voices, our singing voices. So let's try to get ourselves out of that a little bit. Now, was there ever a time where you really wanted to use your voice, where you really wanted to sing, you really wanted to audition, you really wanted to try out for student council or anything that would require that you use your voice and you were just too intimidated to do it? Or was there ever a time where you used your voice and then you were criticized about it? And how did that change the way that you viewed yourself? Have you ever thought that you were sounding really good and you listen to a recording of yourself and you go, oh my gosh, that's not how I sound at all? And it intimidates you. It makes you not really want to get back out there. So if you have any experiences like that, those are the things that really shape how we move forward with using our voices. So if you have experiences like that, I would love to hear your stories in the comments. One quick story I have is we were in the thrift shop and this kid was singing Jingle Bells. And that's why I had Jingle Bells on the top of my mind, because I've been thinking about this kid. This kid was going around singing Jingle Bells in his mom's cart. And his mom was obviously like so self-conscious about the fact that he was singing, because she was like, shh, no, like be quiet, stop. And man, like my heart felt for this kid so much, because he was a little guy. He was, 5 or 6 years old, and he just wanted to sing Jingle Bells. Like, what about that was so harmful to everybody else? And apparently, it was really in this mom's head that he shouldn't be doing that. And so I just started singing Jingle Bells right along with him. Like, I wanted her to feel a little bit better about it. Like, he's not bothering anybody. It's actually really joyful to get to hear a little kid walking around singing. So let us enjoy it. I also think it's funny, like, try to imagine a time where you've watched a singing competition and you think that singer did pretty good, but you're kind of on the fence about it. And so you like wait around. You don't want to give your reaction quite yet, because you want to hear what the judges think before you. Because after all, what if you thought that singer was good and you're wrong because the judges said that they were a bad singer? And how embarrassing for us to think somebody's good when professionals think that they're not. That is just so backwards. Those judges, those professionals, they're not the end all be all. They are not the masses. But I think that just goes to show like how much we question our own experience and we wait for a professional to tell us what to do or what to think. So if you get anything out of this video, I just hope that you start to trust your own experiences a little bit more, and stop taking yourself so seriously when it comes to singing, and stop taking everybody else so seriously when it comes to singing. Like, let people sing. So what I want you to do is I want you to just get out of your own way a little bit. The next video, I'm going to share some drills. And before we get to those drills, I just want your own head out of your way. I don't want you to be so self-conscious about this, because we're going to be doing some really silly things. That's part of singing, is those drills that can feel really silly. If you don't believe me, go to a live audition and just in the waiting room, like, listen to all of the funny sounds that people are making. It is so funny, and it's silly, and it's ridiculous, and people are taking it so seriously. And that's okay. We can be serious about being silly, and we can be silly about being serious. And, singing is just like a part of expressing ourselves, and ourselves are not so perfect all the time. So you have to give room for that. And before I end the video, I want to give you a quote, and that is, "The boat is safer anchored to the port, but that's not the aim of boats." So I hope you really think about that. That is from The Pilgrimage by Paulo Coelho. Thank you so much for watching. Love you. Now, I've been wanting to record this for a long time, and here I am. I'm finally doing it. Oh my gosh. Yay! Hooray! Jessica, you're being corny. Why are you being so corny? 'Cause I'm corny. Jeez. Okay. And I want you to imagine like a time when you've let people enjoy themselves. Thank you for watching. See you next time. See you next time. We'll see you next time. Have to be a little bit silly sometimes.